SRIRAM's IAS, serving the nation since 1985. Ab offline ho ya online, we are the lifeline.
Hello students, welcome to SRIRAM's IAS. This is another class of the current affairs series which will help you in your upcoming prelims examination. I am Mayank Bharadwaj presenting this series. We have come up with a new topic, and that new topic is about governor. The issue of governor is always there for one or the other reasons in the current affairs, and this time the governor as chancellor of the universities in state is the issue. Now you all know, you all have studied Indian polity, and you know the structure in India. We are a uniform government, kind of a government. We have the tilt is more towards the union, although there are features of federalism in this country, but the tilt is always towards the union, and for that reason governor holds two important positions. It has two important roles. One as the head of the state, head of state. This is a constitutional position held by the governor of a state, and second important thing is he is the representative of the central government in the states. So this is particularly an important element which tilts the balance towards the center rather than towards the state, and that is the reason why India is not a perfect federalism as we see in the United States, and that is the reason why governor is also appointed by the central government, not elected. Okay, I hope you understand this. Now think about it. Even if he is the representative of the central government appointed by the central government, he cannot take decisions on whims and fancies or on his own discretion. The governor has to take decision on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers of the state. Okay, as the Council of Ministers of the state, any decision which is taken by the governor is taken on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers of the state. Although several discretion are given, such as discretion to send a particular bill for the assent of the president, he can reserve a bill for the assent of the president, those are other matters, but in general terms he has to work on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. But does he do the same when he is acting as the chancellor of the universities? नॉर्मल बिजनेस करते समय, कुछ भी बिजनेस हो, कोई भी डिसीजन मेकिंग हो, किसी भी चीज पर काम करना हो, he takes the aid and advice of Council of Minister. Okay, but as a chancellor of a university, does he take or work on the aid and advice of the Council of Minister? Now this is the question. Universities are of two kinds in India. Generally, if we see central and state, there are also deemed university, other sort of university, but in general we are watching it. Now central university like JNU, okay, like Delhi University, like the central universities in several state. Allahabad University is also a central university. Similarly, Banaras Hindu University, those are also central university. The president is a visitor here in these university. These university does not have much to do with the governor of a state. But when it comes to the universities which are looked after by the state government, such as any university of your particular state, you can pick up any university. So this Meerut University has now become the Chaudhry Charan Singh University. This is a state university, okay, maintained by the state. Who is the chancellor here? The chancellor is the governor of UP. Okay, similarly, Kolkata University or Jadhavpur University. Kolkata University, who is the chancellor here? The governor of West Bengal. So what are the functions of governor as the chancellor? Now he has overarching power. He has too much of power when he acts as the chancellor of the universities. He can appoint the vice chancellor, he can do so many other things, and most of the things done by him are not on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. He acts on his own discretion. The governor, as the chancellor of the universities, acts on his own discretion. Now this raises several important questions. One on federalism, that where is the state government here? The university is maintained by the state government, but the whole power lies in the hand of governor, who is the representative of the center. So one issue of federalism. Second issue of political interference. You know, there is too much of political interference. People who does not have anything to do with education have been made the vice chancellor. The appointments in the universities of different departments, the deans and everything else also sometimes are done by political considerations. At the same time, there are other issues involved here, such as the governor himself may have no background in education but becomes the chancellor of a university just because he is the governor of a state. So those are important issues we are going to study in this video. Let's come to the next slide. This was the news of The Hindu. The governor's role as the chancellor of state university has become politicized, undermining university autonomy and causing governance issues. So it is also the issue of autonomy of a university. Can it act on his own or under the representative government, the representative of the central government? Now think about a situation where the party in the center is different from the party in the state. The university is the basis of political activities, and the influence of the central government through governor is huge in the state universities, just because he is a governor. So also the issue of autonomy and governance issue come into play. This becomes a hindrance in the delivery of education in the state. Okay, similar thing. Now let's come to the next slide and see. So the context is recently the governor's role as chancellor of the state university has sparked debate due to increasing political interference, undermining autonomy of the university and the governance issue. Now this particular model has been inherited from the British government. If you see the British government at the before the commencement of the constitution or before the independence in India, in 1857 this particular system has started, that the governor of those regions, especially the regions of Calcutta, Bombay and Madras, were made the chancellor of the universities here. Why? In order to have control over these universities, the control of the British government, the governor of these particular presidencies were very powerful figures, and they wanted total control over whatever activities which are happening in the universities, which can become the ground for revolutionary activities in that period. And for that reason, that simple reason, governor was made as the chancellor of those universities and in those presidencies. But that particular system has continued in the modern India also. Okay, so this is a borrowed system. After independence, colonial model was adopted without reassessment, leading to governance issues. तो ये बहुत पुराना इशू है, ये जाता है पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस में. So challenges क्या हैं with the current system? Politicization. From 1947 to 67 there was no issue. Governor only acted on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. The quality of people who were becoming governor were also good in the Nehruvian era. They were ceremonial figures with the real power in the hand of chief ministers. But after 1967 things have changed. With the coming of Indira Gandhi, things have changed. The centralization of power started to happen, and it has also affected the governance of universities in India. Attempts to amend university law to replace the governor as chancellor have failed. Why? Because governor either blocked it or referred the amendment to the president, who does not allow such a change to happen. So this has been happening in the country from a long run. Governor's dual role. So acts on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers under Article 163. we have already seen. And as a chancellor, when he acts and advises without the council of minister on his own discretion. So the view of the court is Supreme Court says that the present system where the governor is the chancellor of the universities must continue. This is the point of view of the court. The implications can be the governor has wide significant authority over university matters such as appointing vice chancellor. This is important. It appoints the vice chancellor, nominates the member, nomination of member to the university bodies, okay, which usually led to conflicts, particularly in the opposition-led state, as governor bypass state government, undermining the university autonomy. So these are several issues: delays in appointment, inadequate qualification of governors. These are all issues which are concerning the governance in the universities, because the governor being the chancellor. So political appointments are done several times, staff shortages are there, stalled projects are there, and postponement of the awarding of degrees. This is another issue, that if you have to get your degree in 2025 because of the some issues happening between the governor and the state government, your degree is given after 2 years. What's the meaning? You have wasted your 2 years. So several governance issues, several real core issues are happening, and the need of the reform is very much urgent. So there are several studies, commissions have came up and said, like the first administrative reform commission has criticized that system. Sarkaria commission have said that over 60% of the governor are active politicians. Similarly, Ashok Pandey's study have said that 52% of the governor were politician, whereas 26% retired bureaucrats and 22% came from different categories such as bureaucracy and armed forces. Now, how can you actually appoint politicians who does not have a real experience in education as the chancellor of a university? This is just like appointing an administrator or a bureaucrat or a politician as the chairman of the cricket board, which happens throughout the world. Does not have much knowledge of the game, but still is the chairman. So this debate has been going on in country for too long, and it has entered in the arena of education also. Increased political interference, federalism, we have already seen this thing. Now this is a very important distinction. What happened when president acts as a visitor and governor as a chancellor? In appointments and other things, the president functions through the Ministry of Education and consults with it for appointment of vice chancellor, nomination of member to the university bodies, and approval. So the president, having no discretion here, actually acts on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. One of the ministries here, Ministry of Education, gives advices to the president to act in a particular manner when it comes to the appointment of the vice chancellor, appointment of people to different bodies in the universities and other things. But what happens here? The governor acts unilaterally, performing all these similar functions: appointment of vice chancellor, nomination of member, all these functions. He acts unilaterally, not on the aid and advice. He does not have his own advisors also for this thing, and has nothing to do with the Ministry of Higher Education in the state. Approval of statutes. What happens here? Central university law requires the statute along with other types of delegated legislation called ordinances and regulations to be laid before the parliament. So any act which is brought for the central university has to be laid in front of the parliament, but no such thing is there. The state university law does not mandate it to be kept in front of the state legislature. So you can see the distinction here and the problem, which is too huge, the interference in the system of governance of universities. So there are few proposed models which can happen. One of the models says that the governor must act as ceremonial chancellor, that he is just a chancellor, and the aid and advice of the council of minister becomes all important. He does not have the discretion or does not work unilaterally as the chancellor. Second model is the chief minister as the chancellor, but the problem is this will politicize the post to a great extent. It will become a problem. Then state appointed chancellor, that state appoints somebody who has deep knowledge in education, who has been attached with the field from too long. This is a very good suggestion. Elected chancellor, it is done in several countries such as UK, where the chancellor is elected. There is a electoral college consisting of university bodies and alumni who elect the position of chancellor. Then the university appointed chancellor. The university appoints the chancellor. This happens at several places, especially in Melbourne and Birmingham. So these are few models. So again, why this is important for your examination is of the issue, because under Article 163 Clause 1, governor has to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, whereas acting as the chancellor of the university, he does not act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. This results in few problems related with federalism, problem related with politicization of the post, and related with the governance issues and autonomy issues of the university. So this was the article which is very important for your examination point of view, when something can be asked on the role of the governor and role of the governor as the chancellor of university in your prelims examination. I hope you will be able to give the answers through this video if you study this particular topic from this video. Thank you very much for joining me in this particular video. We will come up with the next topic in the next video. Till then, bye bye and Jai Hind.